Good. Well, welcome back. It's not actually until chapter 7 of my book that I talk about incorporating the company. And I think that's important actually because there's a lot to do before you press the red button. And you've got to get a lot of ducks in line, and you've also got to make sure you're organised. And so when you go ahead and create the company, there are a few things that you need to do in order to make it run smoothly, but also to keep those all important records for future due diligence. So one of the first things I recommend, actually, strangely enough, is invest in a few lever arch files. These obviously aren't very expensive, but you'd be amazed how many people actually scatter their all-important documents around the office and in folders and at home and can't find them when it actually comes to needing them for investors to look at or indeed future acquirers to check. So really the sort of bottom line is try and be organised at this stage, and once you start your business, keep all your paperwork together. And even in this digital age, there's an awful lot of paperwork which gets created, particularly sort of bureaucracy and government related. So that's why lever arch files, old though they are really useful. So what sort of things do you need to line up? Well, when you come to incorporate, you've obviously going to finalise your company name, and with that your domain name. At the same time, you're going to create a bank account, you're going to appoint an accountant, and you've got to let the tax authorities know that you've created a business, so you've got to register with them, but also register with them the other things that go with running a business should you start trading immediately. So by that I mean you've got to register for things like corporation tax, VAT, or the equivalent, payroll. In the UK, that's PAYE, pay as you earn, real-time information collection that HMRC expects. And now there's much more compliance on businesses as well around pensions. In the UK, you've got auto-enrolment you've got to be careful of. And then you may need some permits as well to operate the type of business that you're envisaging running. So you've got to get all of these things in place before you start really trading properly. A few other things you should consider as well. You will need insurance, particularly if you take on an employee, but it's also worth having insurance against product liability, potentially director's liability insurance if you're going to take on investors as well. And also, of course, you've got products, services, and your own assets. So you might want to insure buildings as well as contents. So all of these things require a little bit of thought, and of course make sure that you read all the documents that go with them. You'd be amazed how many people sign away things relating to insurance and company structure without really understanding how that all comes together.